I'm back, baby. Welcome to Recency Bias Radio, where no one is safe from criticism. I am your humble host, Dave Smith. We're back in familiar territory, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, this reminds me of old times. You feel me? Don't worry, I'm gonna bring it back to the other room for the next one. But for the night, why not? Why not? But anyway, this rant, my 13th rant, will be entitled Fatal Attraction. I'm going to get into why I'm calling it Fatal Attraction shortly. But I want to let the people come in a little bit before I get into my hot takes. People say, Dave, man, you be coming in so damn hot. We be like 20 seconds behind you, coach. So I'm going to wait a little bit. But thank you all for being here on this Monday afternoon / night. It's kind of in between. But we are going to definitely break down everything that went down over this weekend. We're going to break down Sunday night's episode. I just got done watching Sunday night's episode, and that was probably one of the worst edited episodes in Big Brother history. Bar none. Bar none. I mean, so many things that they jumped to in transitioning didn't have anything to do with Sam's decision. I mean, why is Bailey talking to JC the last thing we see before Noms? It didn't make any sense, coach. You feel me? It didn't make any sense. But I'm going to get into that towards the end, ladies and gentlemen. Let's start off talking about how Thursday night went down. And see, I was taking so many damn notes. This is going to be a long one. Okay, so bear with me here. I'm going to try my best because you notice in Sunday night's episode, they didn't explain none of Sam's reasoning for putting up Caitlyn or Haley, which is why I put so much effort into my Thursday night rant, because I had a feeling CBS would be on some fuck shit. So at least now people can always go to that video. They can always go to that and understand Sam's motivations. But if they were to just watch this as a casual fan, all they see is Sam being a badass, but they don't understand it through context why she's actually being a bully. And they don't understand why she's a hypocrite for preaching female empowerment when all she is doing is slut-shaming females. And see, notice how they kind of hid that part from her speech. But we're going to get into that later, ladies and gentlemen. But like I said, let's start off with Thursday night's feeds, why don't we? Right after HOH, ladies and gentlemen, okay? Right after HOH. Caitlyn runs to the have-not room for Tyler and Brett's protection, okay? This immediately threw a red flag to me because I thought, oh, she definitely flipped back to the Sacred Six's side. But this girl is full of shit, coach. She is full of shit, coach, and she will prove to us why she's full of shit later. And don't worry, I've documented all of this shit, okay? Y'all know me. I can craft a narrative to offset the BS that CBS is showing us. So all she gets from Tyler, or as I want to call him and Brett, Tylette. I want to call them that now. But anyway, all she gets from Tylette is them throwing Rockstar under the bus again, doubling down on the lie of her orchestrating the 6-5 vote. Caitlyn is so stupid to believe this lie because Rockstar hates Brett with a passion. So why would she want him to stay over Winston? Caitlyn almost caught Tyler in a lie when he said something pertaining to someone besides Sam hating her too. Caitlyn focuses on the word too because it implies she has more enemies. Think about that. When you use two, it implies there's more people involved, right? When she applies pressure, Tyler lies some more about hypotheticals. Caitlyn was on the verge of figuring out who flipped. Notice how in this episode she even mentioned, I think it's Tyler and JC, but all of a sudden she just believes that Sam used her special power. First off, if Sam used a special power, why would it lead to the exact same vote number, 6-5? 11 votes. That doesn't make any sense. Then there's people saying, well, she voted last, so it's possible that she could have negated two people's votes. Like, come on, that doesn't even make any sense, coach. Just use your brain. Sam voted last. They purposely let Sam and Tyler vote back to back. That way, if Sam has one of her I don't understand the game moments, Tyler can remind her of the game moment. You feel what I'm saying? So they are foolproofing Sam's game by making sure even if she forgets what the plan is, she will have Tyler in that little hallway with her to discuss something where no one else can hear it. That is subtly helping both of their games by allowing them to cover up the vote. Now, if anyone in this game was intelligent, they would be able to connect A to B, and then they would target both of them as a result. But because the talent pool is so damn bad, y'all, because it's so diluted with recruits, okay? Because of this, this is what we have, okay? This is just what we have. Now, okay? But for what, like I said, she was on the verge of figuring out who flipped. But for whatever reason, neither her or Haley think it was JC eventually. like I mentioned. He must be playing a good game, and I really give JC a compliment, so I'm going to give him a compliment here. He must be playing a good game because no one ever points a finger at him on their side. They actually believe Rockstar flipped before JC, based off of the 6-5 vote being exactly what Brett said it would be, right? Which doesn't make any sense because JC has all the incentive in the world to want that side to split up. Preferably Caitlyn from Tyler and Haley from Faisal. Because with those two people gone, follow me, ladies and gentlemen, JC now is the bridge to instigate a Tyler versus Faisal beef. And later, earlier today on the feeds, it's starting to look like JC might bump heads with Tyler. And if they start bumping heads, this won't spell good for Tyler based off of how CBS decided to ride JC's cock today in the edit versus Bailey. CBS, y'all may have shot yourself in the foot by being so pro JC. Because think about this. If he does go against Tyler later on in this game, let's say he goes against him soon. You guys have propped him up as this martyr for gay rights, midget rights, dwarf rights. What other rights is he being granted? Okay, you guys are just making him the martyr for the military. You're giving him that too when he votes. You're letting him throw that out there. So you guys are letting him be the martyr for a lot of causes right now. But see, right now he's on Tyler's side. Okay, so it's easy for him to be the martyr. But here's the thing, CBS. Y'all can't Teflon this dude's edit and then set him up to fail later when he opposes Tyler. You can't do that later, okay? Because it will go against your wishes to make him AFP. So I am interested to see what happens with that, but let's keep going with the order of what I wrote it down as, okay? But I just want to throw that out there. But anyway, so yes, like I said, he might be able to instigate a Tyler versus Faisal thing if he can really split that side up. JC needs Faisal to get out Tyler for him down the road, so it makes sense. JC then goes with Tyler upstairs to talk about framing Rockstar to make sure Sam puts her up. But since Sam feels sorry for how Brett treated Rockstar, they know it won't work. Rockstar and Scotty come up the stairs and interrupt their conversation. And it's pretty funny because when they're having this conversation, JC is laying on his back, okay? And Tyler is laying on his stomach on like this little chair. Well, it's kind of like a futon kind of. And they're like chatting to each other. One is laying face up, one is laying face down, and they're just talking to each other. And it's funny because Scotty walks in, he's like, oh, there's one person over here. There's two people over here. I was like, Scotty, you are slick. See, Scotty knows when some bullshit's going down. Scotty, man, I hope he's the one that fucks up Tyler's game, okay? Now, hearing Tyler tell her it's just a game. He was talking to Rockstar, by the way, because like I said, Rockstar and Scotty went up there. Hearing Tyler tell her it's just a game really pisses me off because his tactics in this game towards Swaggy weren't sportsmanlike in the slightest. And Brett did the same thing to Rockstar, only because he was too scared to out the Maneaters Alliance because he wanted Sam to use her app on him. They don't really talk about this in the edit either. That was the whole motivation for that speech, y'all, because he really wanted to out the All Girls Alliance in that speech, but he had to throw a change up because him and Tyler realized, you know what, we might shoot ourselves in the foot. And good thing he did that because Sam ended up winning the damn HOH and he could have been her target. So he saved his own ass with that. Now, Tyler was cocky enough to say there was a lot of people fooled this week in front of Scotty's face. This really rubbed me the wrong way, ladies and gentlemen, because here's my thing. If I was in Scotty's shoes, I would have immediately read between the lines that he was sneak dissing because Scotty was the HOH leading the other side against Brett. If Tyler was really as good as y'all say he is, and I love saying that. I love saying it because I know it pisses some of y'all off. The majority of the people that fuck with this channel, I know y'all love it. But the other motherfuckers that show up, let me click on this line, let me create a new channel, zero subs, all of them, yeah, they hate it. But anyway, if Tyler was really as good as y'all say he is, he'd be more careful with comments such as these because he didn't sound like a guy who was one of the people fooled while saying it. Think about it, y'all. If you were fooled, wouldn't you say we all got fooled this week? Why would you say lots of people got fooled this week? See, that separates yourself from the victimhood. See, this is why it's important for super fans to populate the majority of this game. A super fan will hear that and go ding, ding, ding. He just sneak dissed his own self. He just snitched on himself, coach. He gave me all the ammunition I need to know that him and JC flipped. But I'm going to get into why the math doesn't make sense, ladies and gentlemen. Follow me. Y'all know I was ready for this rant, baby. Woo. All right. Now, check this out. The smarter thing to say with JC, Rockstar, and Scotty there would have been, we all were fooled this week. Because remember, JC is also lying that he voted to get out Brett too. And if the vote was 6-5, think about it. It doesn't make sense. How are you two of the 5? You see what I'm saying? Meaning all 3 of the 4 of them should be 3 of the 5 votes because Scotty was HOH. Okay, now you don't need to know calculus to compute that JC and Tyler both are bad liars by this factor alone. Because that would mean only 2 people between Faisal, Haley, Rockstar, Caitlyn, and Bailey voted to get out Brett, which doesn't make sense. The math just doesn't check out, especially since the aforementioned aren't around the other side as much as JC and Tyler. See, come on, man. I understand you got to play the game and act dumb, but someone needs to call them out on the simple math, okay? Just call them out on the simple fucking math. This is simple. God damn, the vote is so obvious to anyone with a brain, which is why Brett knew he had to cause a distraction by pissing off Rockstar on her daughter's birthday because it keeps people's minds more on her and less on the easy mathematics, okay? After Steve went home, remember this? Tyler acted indifferent because the decision was really out of him, the HOH's hands. His play this time should have been that of someone who was angry. But the way he threw the HOH to Sam tells everyone he voted on Sam's side to keep Brett. Why isn't anyone mentioning this? Why would someone who voted with me against Sam throw the HOH to the other side? That doesn't make sense, ladies and gentlemen. Once again showing Tyler isn't a great game player. People are just either too pussy to call him out on the simple mathematics, or they're too damn dumb and don't understand the game to know he is lying through his teeth and the lies aren't even clever. They're not. They just aren't. Okay? Now, like I said, okay, his play this time should have been that of someone who was angry, but the way he threw HOH to Sam told everyone he's on Sam's side to keep Brett. So once again, why are these players so damn dumb to believe Rockstar flipped over JC and Tyler? It just doesn't make any sense for Rockstar to want to keep Brett. Bailey pulls Tyler to the, I call it the multi-purpose room, but I'm going to try my best to call it geometry room because they call it that on the feeds. I caught on. All right, so anyway, Bailey pulls Tyler to the geometry room to talk to Tyler about the vote and her current place in the game. Notice how Tyler was so thirsty to mention how Faisal was yelling just to interrupt the flow of the conversation. Faisal was basically yelling and joking around outside of the geometry room, but Tyler kept interrupting Bailey. That way he can stall and think of excuses to feed her with. And that's why he kept saying, Faisal, is he mad? Is he mad? See, that's Tyler trying to paint another target on another person of color, okay, that he's probably intimidated by. But peep game on that as well. If you guys go back, you will see what I'm talking about. And I'll have some timestamps later on. I know you guys love my timestamps, but I'm trying to speed this up because it's a lot of notes, ladies and gentlemen. Now, this is important to note because it shows he can't wait to make Faisal into the next swaggy by lying on his name too. Tyler says he told her he'd be straight up with her. But then right after he tells her people on her side want to turn her against him. How the hell would he know that though? Sounds like more production interference to me. Bailey then tells him about how overprotective Caitlyn is of him and how disturbing it is. Tyler, of course, throws Caitlyn under the bus, doesn't defend her at all. This is notable as well because it should show Bailey that Tyler has no loyalty to anyone, not even the person he got to backdoor her man. So why should she feel like he'll be loyal to her at all? Come on now. Now, he turned on Swaggy and he's turning on Caitlyn the same way. He claims to not know where the votes were to Bailey, and here I'm assuming she's playing a little dumb because there's no way she buys this lie if her and Haley reacted to Brett's speech in the way that they did. Tyler then tells Bailey he never swore on his dad, but he did. That was a bold-faced fucking lie. And then he says Swaggy didn't have to swear on his dad a couple of weeks ago, which I found very disrespectful. And I'll explain. This pissed me off because he only swore on his dad because of the position Tyler put him in after they bonded because of their dads, okay? But see, notice, whenever Tyler is around Bailey, he can't keep Swaggy's dick out his mouth. Now, I don't know if he's bringing up Swaggy to sneak diss him in front of her, or because like on feeds, he'll say, "Oh, what if there's a battle back and Swaggy comes back?" Then he says some dumb shit like, "Oh, Swaggy could have won the game. That's why I couldn't keep him around." Like what? Shut your dumb ass up. Brett has a better chance of winning the game than Winston. You still kept him. See the bullshit here, ladies and gentlemen. See the bullshit here. Let me keep moving on. He only did that to show Caitlyn how much of a fuckboy Tyler is. And if Caitlyn wasn't so dumb, it would have worked. Then Tyler's bitch ass tries to pander to Swaggy right after microanalyzing his campaigning by saying he could have won the whole game. Really, Tyler? So you really are trying to convince Swaggy's girlfriend you got Swaggy out because he would have won the game? Why keep Brett then over Winston? Surely Brett has a better chance than him. See, Tyler's habitually line stepping when it's convenient. And since Bailey is constantly on her heels with no momentum in the game, she can't afford to expose him or ask the questions she needs yet. I feel so bad for her because she has to limit herself as a character in this game in fear of being labeled the angry black woman. And this will come back over and over again throughout this rant, ladies and gentlemen. Bailey then comes to the bedroom with Haley and Faisal to discuss the game and grills Faisal on him being loyal to Caitlyn and needing to drop her ass like a bad habit. She tells him to meet her in the geometry room to discuss it further after he talks to Haley. Haley is mentally prepared to be put up because she's already suspected Sam didn't like her. Spoke about that in the last rant, didn't I? Like I mentioned, I already took the note that I mentioned in the last rant. Dang, I was savage. I'm seeing the future. Anyway, she's scared to be seen with anyone, though, because it could make her a bigger target. And based off the way that Sam portrayed her as some slut, it's best for her to stay away from all men until she's off the damn block, okay? So kudos to Haley for playing this very smart here and being socially aware and self-aware enough to know that she would clearly be a target for Sam in this moment. Whereas I think Caitlyn was a little unsure, which goes to show Tyler isn't sharing enough information with Caitlyn to even make her aware that she might be put up, which once again shows Tyler don't give a fuck about Caitlyn, okay? And I would love to see these people that were so quick to talk about how Swaggy treated Caitlyn bad. Where y'all at when Tyler treats her like shit? Where are y'all at? It's like y'all disappear, vanish without trace in this motherfucker whenever Tyler does something to a woman that's disrespectful. You guys aren't consistent, but don't worry. I'll be consistent for you, coach. But anyway, let's keep it moving. Okay. Now, Faisal basically asks her to show him some love here and there because she's been distant lately. He then asks her if she trusts him, and she says yes. That's all he needed to know. Now this brother is ready for war to protect the lady he wants. This is how you get the girl that's hard to get, by being resilient. Take some notes, Tyler. This is how you get the girl you want. Not by being a damn beta male and sending your competition out the door because you can't compete with it. That's not how you get the girl you want, coach. That's not how you get her. In fact, it shows the girl that whenever you two are in the same room, you feel like you ain't shit. So why should she be with you over him? Anyway. So take some notes, Tyler. You don't see Faisal targeting Brett every minute just because Haley gives him massages. See, that's a mentality thing. That's a self-confidence thing, okay? Camera then pans to Bailey and Faisal in the geometry room talking, and that's where her mistrust for Faisal was really explained. Faisal told Caitlyn about the all-girl alliance that she was excluded from. Faisal claimed, and he also told some of the guys about it as well, by the way. Let me provide that context. Faisal claims he did it because Caitlyn's future noms didn't make sense to him. So he told her about that women's alliance to sway her into targeting men. But it obviously did nothing, and it doesn't make sense for Faisal to want Caitlyn to target men if he's the one approaching Tyler about trying to keep men safe. So, because I truly believe Faisal doesn't want any man to go home yet. You know, because 3 of them went home first. I truly believe he wants to even it out, maybe 3-3 gone before another man gets targeted. But maybe I'm wrong. But But yeah, so Bailey thinks Caitlyn has a mist about her that almost turned facial on Haley last week, which I mentioned last week about how they were kind of bumping heads a little bit, which allowed Caitlyn to get back in Facial's good graces. But because she was back in Facial's good graces, she took it personal during charades when Sam tried to hit on Facial. I told you about the whole, oh, you look like she basically said he looks like Rocky. I forgot dude's name, not Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sylvester Stallone. That's what she kept saying. You look like Sylvester Stallone, Fessy. You know, all that dumb shit. And it's rare you hear me say Fessy, but when I imitate someone, I will. All right, here we go. She has a point because Facial and Haley were very awkward towards each other until Sam won HOH. I truly it was awkward because Facial may have caught on to Haley wanting Brett to stay over Winston earlier in the week like I did. I mentioned that, but I am happy that Haley eventually came to her senses and now she appears to be a ride or die for Bailey. So you won't see me throwing much shade Haley's way. I truly appreciate her game now. I think I understand her game now more than ever, okay? Now, but yeah, so which may have made him suspect that they have a secret showmance or something. That definitely would create distance with any man thinking he's being played. Bailey stresses to Facial she needs him to step up and win an HOH because she doesn't feel protected and may have to use her app before she's ready. She admits to trusting Tyler more than Rockstar, which I didn't like hearing from her. Makes me think she's buying the bullshit from Brett a little bit, Tyler and maybe production. Maybe on a blender, mix that up a little bit, which I find disappointing because she had no incentive to tell Facial she trusts Tyler in this moment. I didn't get that, especially right after grilling him for being close to Caitlyn. Shouldn't she not be so vocal about being close to Tyler if Facial knows Caitlyn turned on Swaggy because of Tyler? I didn't get that play by Bailey there. I wish someone would explain it. I just didn't get that play from her. It was a little fragment that I was trying to read that didn't make sense. Now, 10:29 p.m. Cam 3 Thursday night. Now, here's where I'll start having the receipts for y'all, okay? This is when we could get into the brass tacks. Peep game on JC, Tyler, and Sam in the bathroom. Tyler asks Sam about who she hopes to get pictures of in her HOH room. When she mentions who, Tyler says he'll go to production himself if she doesn't get the picture she wants. Anybody else peep that? I mean, this guy is so confident of his sway of production, he thinks he can get her extra photos that weren't provided before the game? That's interesting. I thought that was a telltale moment on Tyler's part to show us that he is indeed a plant. I think that was him exposing himself there in that moment. Now, people are going to say, Dave, he was just joking. He was being nice. No. Everything is necessary to provide context as to why I don't like Lifeguard Jesus. Okay. Now, but yeah, so when she mentions who, Tyler says he'll go to production himself if she doesn't get those pictures. Interesting. He sounds so certain in this moment that he has a great relationship with production, enough to get them to change something in the game. This is important to provide context to the power Tyler has in the game because it was given to him and not earned. He never had to work for a good relationship with production like the rest because he already filmed a CBS show in TKO. Another thing they'll never show on TV. The fact that he's always been. And shout outs to the people. Shout outs to my brother Soy Unico. I believe that's his name. I'm trying to remember the names of people on Twitter more and more now. But shout outs to my brother for constantly putting me on game with stuff. Tyler has a history of calling someone a nig on Twitter. You know, now there's going to be people like, oh, he meant ignoramus, Dave. You know, they're going to come up with some crazy ass excuses, but he called someone a nig on Twitter. 6 months ago, he talked about how TKO was going to be so funny before anyone even knew it was actually a thing. So this guy is a plant, y'all. He's a plant. And by him saying the N-word and just shortening it halfway on Twitter, it shows me that he thinks he's down. He thinks he can use it the same way JC thinks he could use it. But see, that's what the privilege does. It makes you think, oh, if you can say it, I can say it. That's the whole foundation of it, ladies and gentlemen. But let's get back to what I was saying, okay? But yeah, so Tyler also goes out of his way to tell Sam she can't say who she's nominating, but everyone already knew it would be Caitlyn and Haley. Remember how Sam in the HOH room went out of her way to say, I can't tell you guys who I'm putting up anyway? That was all fed to her from Tyler. And then the feeds cut off as soon as he said that to her. So Peep that. Now, also peep how condescending Tyler is with all this power going to his head when Bailey joins the conversation. He sells Bailey some BS talking about, you never know, Swaggy could come back in the house in a few days. So in one night, he said Swaggy could have won the game and Swaggy might come back. Anyone with the brain knows he isn't saying this because he wants it to happen. So he's only saying it because he thinks Bailey is dumb enough to find it endearing. Bailey is laying down talking to JC and Tyler about Winston until Casey and Haley show up. Casey decides to lay right next to her and spoon in the bathroom. This is the part that I had a huge problem with when I jumped into feeds. I was like, why the fuck? Right after they just blindsided y'all, it's Casey spooning with Bailey. I don't like this shit. And if I'm Swaggy, I don't like this shit either. You feel me? I don't, coach. I just don't. The imagery of this really pissed me off because you got Tyler over here pandering to her while Casey is all over her. If she truly believes she could be pregnant, because let me provide some context here. Bailey on feeds over the weekend has been calling Swaggy a baby daddy. And I forgot who she was speaking to specifically. I think it was Scotty. He said something to the effect of, oh, you two were woo, 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 woo. And she was just like, yeah. And she was like, but to be fair, I wouldn't know if I was until after I'm out of the house anyway. She said something to the effect of that. So my thing is, if she thinks there's a possibility she could be pregnant with this brother's baby, why is she letting these lesbians hug up on her? Like, I don't like that. I don't like that. Now, maybe she ain't pregnant at all, but it's important for me to say this because it's driving me up a wall to see these people, you know, kind of use her emotion when they want to use it, but then they dismiss her. You know what I'm saying? And then when it's convenient, they want to hug up and cuddle her. I don't like that shit. I really don't, okay? I would like her to set some boundaries with Casey because Casey is so full of shit. Casey has been telling everyone how sore her arms are from the HOH comp. But as soon as she sees Bailey laying there, she wraps literally one arm around her and then leans on the other arm. So all of a sudden, your shit magically got cured when you saw Bailey laying there? Like, come on, fam. This shows how thirsty she is. She forgets the game she's playing when she sees Bailey. Another direct example of why I'm calling this episode Fatal Attraction, ladies and gentlemen, because the shit is weird. Beast Mode Cowgirl strikes again, okay? Last key thing to note about Thursday night, ladies and gentlemen, was Sam reassuring Faisal that everything is going to be okay. Literally the night before, she did a speech that destroyed the character of his two closest allies. Well, really two closest friends. I don't really think Caitlyn is his closest ally at this point. Bailey is. Now, does Sam know Faisal now has to target her down the road for Haley as a result? Or did Sam really mean it's okay because she knows her app will save whoever gets voted out anyway? If someone doesn't come back on Thursday, expect Faisal to want to put up Sam and another girl. If someone does come back, expect him to want to throw HOH. But I think he might still want to win it. I'm not sure. And I want to mention this too. I'm getting tired of all these people online standing Bailey and Tyler as a couple. You know, there's YouTube channels created for Tyler and Bailey. It's like, what the fuck is this shit? This is not even a real showmance, and y'all creating a page for him. This swirling shit is an illness, okay? Especially when the girl is taken and you're still posting this swirl shit. It's like, what the fuck is this shit? Post Tyler and Caitlyn. Post Tyler and Haley. Post Tyler and someone that is single in the damn house. Don't post him in a taken woman. That is disrespectful to her man. Okay, and I'm going to break this down. It's disrespectful to Swaggy C to be shipping his girl with another man. You never see people shipping Jordan with another man after Jeff got eliminated. Peak game on that. So all of this support is coming from diehard Tyler fans and the coons that love to swirl. Yeah, I'm calling y'all out. Let's get it popping, coach. Let's get it popping. We all know if roles were flipped and Bailey were eliminated first, no one would root for Swaggy hooking up with another girl. Nobody. Matter of fact, the feminist movement would come out for his ass. Let's call a spade a spade. But because this is a sister and this is a white man over here, oh my God, he is perfect for her. And I'll get into later on in this rant why he threw her under the bus and he ain't shit. But it is important to provide this context to expose the bullshit. Now, so this goes to show that people hate this brother Swaggy so much that they give this sister a pass for her own infidelity, even if she could be pregnant. That's crazy. That's crazy. Is anyone looking at this the way I am? That's insane, y'all. So pay close attention to these people who want them together because they are subtly rooting for another black father to be away from his kid. So the white man can become the white savior complex, which I mentioned a long time ago in some rants a long time ago. People are like, oh, Dave, come on now. Nah, that's how the edit wants to position it. Come on. And that's what all of these swirlers want. They want Tyler to be her savior. Save her game, Tyler. She can't do anything without you. That bullshit. Just like Section 8, they want Bailey to only be rewarded if she sells out her black man to the white man. Secondly, if Tyler wasn't man enough to get Bailey when Swaggy was around, he doesn't even deserve her after he's gone because he was never willing to fight for her. What type of man waits for another man to leave before he speaks up? A damn beta male. And lastly, Tyler told the whole house the secret Swaggy told him about Bailey just to paint a target on Swaggy. So clearly his love for Bailey has limits too. Because let's be real. What type of person who is into a girl would spread information about her having sex with another guy? That type of sabotage sabotages the woman as well, you dick. But he was willing to do whatever it takes to get rid of the guy because he couldn't stand the thought of knowing that they were having sex. That's one of those, if I can't have you, no one can. That's crab in a barrel type shit. But it's amazing how many black people I've seen actually liking Tyler and Bailey together. Oh yeah, I gotta put you on blast too. We've gotten to a point now where people are giving Tyler brownie points for being nice to a woman who's having a rough time, but Tyler is responsible for her rough time. What kind of fuckboy shit is this? So if he creates the mess and then sweeps the floor, you give him credit for sweeping the floor? What the fuck is this shit? But he did it so well, Dave. He left it spotless, bro. Shut your dumb ass up, okay? So how does he get to be the nice guy when he fucked Bailey's game up on purpose because he couldn't have her? Could a black player ever get away with murder like this? I doubt it. Now, 12:54 a.m. Thursday night, Bailey is pissed at Caitlyn because Caitlyn is fucking batshit crazy. I'm glad Bailey is changing the narrative by calling Caitlyn the bully because she is one. Caitlyn is all about bullying people, okay? What she does is she constantly cries with them white girl tears to keep the narrative based off, she hurt me. You weren't there to see it for yourself, but know that by me crying, it must be true. Bailey does the same thing. They say, oh, get over it. Be strong. That's the difference, okay? Now, oh shit, my fault. I think I lost myself for a split second. Don't worry, I'm still there, baby. I'm still there, okay? But yeah, so I'm glad she's changing the narrative. If Caitlyn was black, there's no way she could play this game. But notice how Tyler keeps telling Bailey to not let Caitlyn force her to blow up, but he's the one who put Caitlyn up to making Swaggy blow up. See the fuck shit here too? Oh, now you don't want no one to blow up, huh, Tyler? Because you'll know you'll be connected to both black players blowing up, so you're trying to cover your own ass. I'm peeping game. I'm peeping game. He think he's slick, but no, he gonna get this work tonight, coach. He gonna get this work tonight, okay? So this once again shows how full of shit Tyler is. He wants Bailey in the fucked mental, emotional state to rely on him. That way he can show America he was always better for her than Swaggy. That's the only reason he acts like he cares. If he truly cared about Bailey, he would at least try to bring her in to replace Winston in the level 6. Think about that. Bailey's close to Rachel. Bailey's close to Casey. Bailey's close to Tyler, I guess, in his eyes. Why won't you bring her in and make her feel like she's part of something in a concrete way? You won't do that because you want her to be alone. You want her to rely solely on you and not the group. You don't want her to gain any type of clout in that group because you know she has the type of pool to get Casey, Rachel, and Angela to probably target your ass. So you don't want her to know about level 6. Oh, my bad. Level 5. You guys down to 5 now. Woo. Okay. He's too scared to tell Bailey any information that could gain her some ground in the game. And Bailey knows Tyler is the one protecting Caitlyn. So what pisses me off the most is him not owning up to the mess he created. That is 100% all on him. I feel so sorry for Bailey because she can't be herself because of the stigma of being black on Big Brother. She also can't confide in anyone truly because they rigged the game against Swaggy. So production is pushing Bailey towards Tyler because they set him up with so much clout that she can't go nowhere else. Okay? This is all by design, and I predicted this would happen early in the season. All the people tired of Bailey crying that had no problem with women like Rachel from BB12 doing it. This is a clear double standard, and it's why I always point out the white crying technique. Because a white woman crying is taken differently by a predominantly white house than an equally diverse one. Brittany Haynes is staying by lots of people, but all she did was talk shit about others and cry herself. Jordan Lloyd did tons of crying, but because she was so nice, she got the sympathy edit. But would Bailey ever be congratulated for standing up to bullies the way Jordan was with Russell? Of course not, because a damsel in distress can only be a white woman in this game. Ooh, I'm hitting them with that tea tonight. Bailey is the nicest person in the house, just like Jordan was in her seasons, but people hate Bailey for her crying. And none of them are black. This is important to point out because when people don't understand you, they dismiss you in this game and in this country. Bailey can't confront anybody because she'll be edited as the angry black woman, which they kind of did to her with JC, even though she was very calm and she spoke on her personal experiences. Okay, now, so she's forced to call them the bully. When I say them, I mean Caitlyn. She's forced to call her the bully, basically, to keep herself from being called one later. It's actually pretty genius under these insurmountable stress levels. Production recruits this way on purpose to put black people under the most stress. They could easily make the cast 20 people and add 4 more minorities to make it 8 versus 12 at least, while also adding more double and triple evictions to make it more diverse, but still end with the same amount of days. But they don't want to help a minority by making the field more leveled. Pay attention. So it's the same wash, rinse, repeat bullshit every year. Caitlyn's crazy ass eavesdrops on Bailey and Tyler, then asks Tyler what they were discussing as if she didn't know. Tyler tells her some lies, which pisses off Caitlyn more towards Bailey. So 1:30 a.m. camera 3 comes around on Thursday night, and Faisal reaches his breaking point with Caitlyn. And this is important to note because over the weekend, you could tell Faisal is over this chick. He's over her, okay? He's gotten all of the positive motivation he needs from Haley to know that they can be something if he were to use the veto on her. And by the way, just to let y'all know, the veto happened, Faisal won veto. From what I'm hearing, Caitlyn was second place in the veto. And it's pretty funny. I'm gonna get into a little bit later, but it's funny. Caitlyn expected, hold on, I just got a text. Damn, don't be texting me while I'm live. Come on, coach. But anyway, you throwing me off the sizzle. But anyway, yeah, so Caitlyn finished second in the veto competition behind Faisal. Now, here's the thing. Faisal told her he would use the veto on her, and he told Haley he would use the veto on her. But clearly, he's going to use it on Haley before her. But it's interesting how after Caitlyn loses the veto to Faisal, all of a sudden, she wants to start talking like, I threw it to you. Like, it's just so funny, man. I'm going to get into it later, but it's just so funny how Caitlyn thinks this bullshit will be bought now. He knows she ain't shit for hanging out in the have-not room with Brett for 30 minutes right after that HOH comp was run. And he knows he may lose Bailey as an ally if he keeps trying to be friends with Caitlyn. He thinks she flipped again, which she didn't. But this is a girl who cried wolf situation, ladies and gentlemen. She should have never flipped in the first place if she wanted people to trust her. Now no one has a reason to, which is why I told y'all it's a complete dumb move for her to backdoor Swaggy. But just people, she got to stick up for herself, Dave. She's got to stick up for herself, bro. It's like, nah, y'all just want this brother out, whatever. Then she tells him all she does is play for him, which is more lies. All you do is play for Tyler. Keep it all the way a buck. Then she reverts to crying again, knowing damn well if she was playing for Faisal, she would have never lied to him during her HOH week and backdoored his only shield in Swaggy. Think about it. Swaggy was the only shield Faisal had in the game. You feel me? But luckily, everyone knows Faisal doesn't really understand the game, and that's what's limiting his threat level from increasing. But if he keeps winning these fucking vetoes, he gonna be in trouble soon. So Faisal, only win the ones you got to, coach. Only win the ones you got to. He asks her to explain why she's hanging with Brett, and all she does is ask him, I'm not allowed to talk to him? And Faisal said no. Dude is finally putting her in her place, and he's only going to get realer after this veto. This is important because it explains Faisal's behavior later, because he no longer trusts Caitlyn and knows she's a waste of his own time. But he has to keep playing the game because she will blow up and start talking crazy and reckless, okay? Now, Sam opens up her HOH room, and after she reads letters, she tells the entire house that none of them will be allowed in her room and to just relax because her mind is already made up. This level of narrow-mindedness is a red flag, but of course, they hide the real Sam from the casual fan base in the hope that she wins AFP, if not JC. Now, let's move over to Friday's feeds. That was a long one to talk about Thursday, right? But it's important to set the table, ladies and gentlemen. So now, I find it very ironic that Sam said to Rockstar that she's waiting for someone to do something shitty the morning of her nomination ceremony where she said something shitty. Interesting, Sam. Interesting word choice, okay? Then she said she would be 10 times worse than Rockstar if Brett did the same thing to her. Rockstar brings up how anyone would have done what she done if she was personally attacked. 1:15 p.m. Cam 3 comes around. Caitlyn somehow used the personal attack on Rockstar to play the victim again, which pissed off Faisal some more as he sits next to Rockstar. You can see it on his face. I love how Rockstar called their alliance Team White Privilege. I loved it, Rockstar. I loved it. And there's people actually trying to call Rockstar a racist because she hates on white people on Twitter. It's hilarious, man. It's hilarious. You feel me? It's hilarious. Now, she is so spot on with this because they all get away with so much just because they're aligned to Tyler. It's almost like if you're on Real Madrid or something, y'all. Let me give y'all a sports analogy. You can get away with tax evasion. Anybody follow soccer? Follow what happened to Ronaldo? Ronaldo owed a lot of money due to tax evasion, allegedly. And then all of a sudden, the chairman or the owner of Real Madrid kind of just paid it off for him, okay? Or it's kind of like if you play for the Lakers, you can get away with a rape charge. You get special privileges depending on the team you're on. That's my point here. I know I got some Kobe fans pissed. Hey, I got to provide context, coach. But anyway, right after her and Rockstar debate who should feel more disrespected, Caitlyn gets mad because she hasn't got her medication yet. Why would she need medication if her oils work so well? Is production keeping her high off something that keeps her so schizophrenic? I'm asking this question early because I have proof to provide as to why I think she is doing some hard drugs in this house. And I will open that up with a world premiere based off something I noticed. But Rockstar decides to hit pans to embarrass Brett earlier in the day during house lockdown. I know y'all want me to talk about this. Honestly, I believe she embarrassed herself much, much more than she could have ever embarrassed Brett. I think she fell right into Brett's hands, like he said on Sunday night's episode. And I don't appreciate how the edit is making Brett look like, okay, he was smart for baiting her into this, but they're already setting up the back door of Rockstar on Sunday night's episode, showing us that they can add late additions based off who wins veto because production knew Faisal would use it on Haley. You see the subtle fuckery at play? They wouldn't even put that in that episode if that were the case. And I'd argue they wouldn't even put the JC Bailey shit in that episode if they still had that app twist to take up time. They needed to fill time. I mean, really look at that JC Bailey thing again. That shit lasted like 11 minutes airtime when it could have been an easy 3 minutes. But they wanted to keep playing the violin for JC to help him win AFP, okay? I honestly believe she embarrassed herself more. In my opinion, nobody should utilize a buffoon tactic in this game. Now, people would argue, well, Dave, everybody who's hit the pots and pans have won the game. She might be on a fast track to winning it. Y'all know damn well Rockstar ain't winning the game. Y'all know damn she too real to win the game. She too real. It ain't gonna happen that way, coach. Okay? And honestly, in a sinister way, I'm glad she did this if she does lose the game, because then it'll put it into the shit. People will stop trying it. It will be deceased. It will RIP. This will no longer be a tactic to put pressure on people. This is what people resort to when they have exercised all logic. Okay? Like, come on, fam. And let's be real. Brett was right. Rockstar's application and execution of the pots and pans, it looked like she was just performing on the fly. She didn't know what she was doing. She really just snapped, man. She really just snapped. And like he said, you weren't setting a great example for your kid. And it's sad. It's sad, man. It's really sad. But however, her saying that what's his name? Brett had a micro penis, I did find very funny. Now that was funny, okay? But outside of that, it was a train wreck. Let's be honest, it was a train wreck. Towards the end, though, you could tell Brett was getting irritated, though, because he ran upstairs. LOL, he should have stayed in the have-not room and took it. But you could tell he was about to crack, so he ran to play foosball like a bitch, okay? 2:20 p.m., Cam 3 kicks in. Feeds come back after the nomination ceremony, and Rockstar is discussing the game with Bailey. Bailey reveals she knows Scotty flipped on Swaggy during the 8-4 vote, which shook me. It really shook me because I thought nobody knew that he flipped, because I don't believe to this point Tyler revealed that type of information to her. So for Bailey to automatically know that was very interesting. She was 100% sure that Scotty did that. I thought that was a great sign of how underrated Bailey's game truly is, if she can read that off him that quickly, despite him doing everything they really wanted him to do with his HOH. Thought that was very impressive. This gives me optimism. Bailey is much smarter than she leads on to these people and is more than a competent enough player to win if the playing field was leveled. I'm even more impressed that she hasn't told anyone but Faisal about her power app to this point, because that showed a lot of control, okay? Most people would try to, like if this was Survivor, people would try to barter whatever twist they have to have more allies. But for her to only tell one person and keep it close to the chest, I'm proud. And for Faisal to not spread this information to Haley, who I know he would love to tell, that's a great sign for Faisal too, in my opinion. Now, Rachel admits the charades game pissed Sam off, confirming my last rant as being factual. I knew it. I knew it. Sam hates how these girls go from one guy to the next, according to Angela, but Tyler is responsible for half of this. So once again, how does he get no blame for this from Sam if she isn't being manipulated by production on who to be the scapegoat for this week? Caitlin and Faisal are in the multi-purpose room, the geometry room. It's just how I wrote it, my fault. And Caitlin begins crying because she already knows Faisal would save Haley over her. And based off the conversation from last night, she knows she already lost him. Caitlin flipped back to the other side as soon as Sam went HOH, though. So she doesn't really have the right to be mad at Faisal for wanting to save Haley over her, who hasn't flipped yet over her. Sam must have used the feminist card in her speech real heavy, because she implied Haley is a hoe while also calling Caitlin what she is, a girl needy for male attention and male validation. I'm eager to see how production covers this up. And they kind of covered it up because if you pay attention to Sunday's episode, they kind of jump cutted Sam's speech really fast. Like whenever you see someone talking and then they jump away from her talking and then jump back to her talking, it's because they cut something and it would have looked weird for her mouth to all of a sudden go and then just jump into some other statement, okay? That is a trick that people in cinematography do all the time, okay? So that's just something I want to point out to y'all. See, trust me, bro. I'm well more versed in knowing the edit than I lead on, okay? But anyway, that's a trick, though, a behind-the-camera trick. I'm also interested. Well, hold on. Did I? Okay, yeah. I'm eager to see how production covers this up. I'm also interested to see what they use to fill time outside of the JC Bailey thing without the app twist, because they already can't show much of the real petty Sam. And did y'all notice how they started calling Sam Samantha on the last episode? I was like, what are y'all trying to do? Make her seem less manly or something? Like, she's a tomboy. Now you're going to call her Samantha? Like, it was like, what? I don't know. But yeah, I just noticed that. Sam also decided to speak for the men in the house, which I didn't get. But the only men that are close to her left in the game are Tyler and Scotty. So Scotty was able to piece things together and realize she was throwing him under the bus in the speech to make him look like the one who shares the same thoughts. Peep game on that. Because Scotty, well, Sam truly believes that Haley be flirting with Scotty to lead him on, basically. Caitlin then asks Tyler if he'll play veto for her, and he agrees in hesitation. Then in a real subtle way, lifeguard Jesus tried to get her to pick Faisal, but she already spoke to him and knew that shit was dead. This is important to note because if Tyler really cared about her, he would have jumped at the opportunity to take her off the block. He wouldn't ask her a question like, do you think I can win veto? When has Tyler ever been that? When has he lacked that much confidence to ask someone, do you think I could win it? I don't know, motherfucker. We don't know what the comp is yet. What do you mean, do you think I can win it? Are you going to try to win it or not? Should I pick you or not? See, him doing that is him showing his damn cards. But once again, Caitlyn is so damn digmatized, Tyler can get away with all of the sloppiness. It is annoying to me because a black person can't get away with being sloppy. We have to be spotless. It is so annoying, okay? And see, for him to ask, do you think I can win veto when he clearly threw the last two comps he was in, including the HOH Sam just won, it's just such a dumbass excuse. It's such a dumbass question. Like, the dude clearly could have beat Sam in that comp, threw it to her. The guy clearly could have won the veto before that, didn't really want it. Okay, so clearly this guy can win anything he puts his mind to. So for him to ask her about winning it, do you think I can? Come on, Caitlyn should immediately read between the lines on that. See, if Faisal says that, she immediately jumps to a conclusion. What do you mean by that? Tyler says it. She's like, oh, okay. You feel what I'm saying? Like, she don't have the same energy for him. That's my point. Now, pay attention to this, because Tyler leads every woman on except Bailey and Rockstar because he can't convince a taken woman of anything. And before you say Caitlyn is taken, her man has already broken up with her on Twitter. So while I'll give him credit for keeping these lies up, his competition is so poor that it isn't even a huge feat to accomplish. Eventually, Haley, Brett, and Faisal come in, but everyone leaves as soon as Rockstar comes in because she had them all shook with the pans. And I'd argue the pans is what allowed Sam to go back on her promise to Rockstar. Sam made a promise to Rockstar at the beginning of this game, ladies and gentlemen, that she would never put her up because she reminds her of her childhood friend, Holly, or her best friend, Holly. Somebody named Holly, okay? She said that to her. All of a sudden, Faisal uses the veto on Haley, and Rockstar winds up. See, they're going to keep that from the edit too, though, because they can't show, oh, nice down home Sam lying. They can't show that. Straight shooter Sam lying. They can't show that, ladies and gentlemen. Let's just call a spade, okay? Then she talks to Haley about Sam, and they're both confused why Sam is protecting Brett after what he did to Rockstar if Sam claims to be against bullying. I agree. It doesn't make sense unless she's working with that side. So I would like y'all to speed up your investigation, please. Okay, come on now. Now, my thoughts on this are simple. I think production fed her the anti-bullying stands because it sounds a lot like Caitlyn's excuse to backdoor Swaggy. Production is getting so sloppy that they are suggesting two HOHs in the last 3 weeks frame the same narrative to target who they want. This shows me if Caitlyn does get evicted, they'll make sure that comp is easy because they like her drama. And they told Sam to shit on her to misdirect us all from the diabolical plan. A Tyler, Sam, and Caitlyn final 3. I still think it's in play. I am not discouraged at all, ladies and gentlemen. Now, 6:20 p.m. Friday night. I don't really know what cam this was, but as long as I provide the time, y'all can see it. 3 guesses who. That's what they always say, right? Sam tells Rockstar not to let Brett control her emotions, but she also claims to be against bullying. So Rockstar wants her to explain how Brett is less of a bully than Haley and Caitlyn, which Sam completely ducks by talking in circles because she can't expose that side of the house. But what I found noteworthy was Sam having some sort of a deal with Rockstar because she reminds her of her friend Holly, which I already mentioned, okay? They didn't get into detail what this deal was, but it's something for us to keep our eyes on. Later, I found out it was about nominating her. Sam's biggest problem is her narrative for the week contradicts her behavior for the week. She went from a clear favorite to win to now being someone who probably loses at the end to Tyler now because she's pissing off the women. And there's more women left in the game than men. So odds are there'll be more women in the jury than men. Poor play from her, okay? Poor play from her, okay? Hold on, I almost lost myself. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Okay. I just don't get why she didn't throw the HOH to Tyler if she knew her app expired this week. Why put the unnecessary blood on your hands? I would have jumped down as soon as Tyler was standing up. I would have been like, fuck you, jump down. And now Tyler's like, oh, you feel me? Then Tyler would have been screwed. he would have been screwed. But this is why I think production told him, no, this is going to be your HOH week. That's why she was so adamant with, jump down, Tyler, jump down. It was almost like it was this huge meeting, like this secret society meeting. They said, you'll be the next HOH, my young Padawan. It was almost like that. And she was looking at Tyler like, I have the high ground, Anakin. Don't underestimate my power. You know what I'm saying? Anyone who's seen Star Wars, you know what that scene is. But anyway, but yeah, I don't get why she didn't throw it. Why put the unnecessary blood on your hands? Why keep the blood off Tyler's? Did production tell her to win this? This sparks so many questions because it just doesn't make sense to want an HOH that will be a reset, most likely. 7:30 p.m. comes around. Rockstar tells Haley that Sam is protective of Scotty, and he is the reason why Sam doesn't like Haley. Sam thinks Haley is leading the kid on, but Haley and Scotty are friends, which Haley pointed out. I think Sam looks at Haley as the link that keeps Faisal and Scotty on the same page. And since Sam started this flirting spree with Faisal last week, this theory checks out because getting rid of Haley will probably give Sam more options later in the game. Think about that here. But she had to have known Caitlyn would be voted out before Haley. So I don't get why she didn't just throw up someone from her side instead to guarantee Haley left. Maybe she blew things out of proportion so much on Wednesday night that she had to nominate these two. But see, that's why I think production put her up to it in the first place, knowing they could always hide her pettiness in the edit later. Because notice, there was no flashback showing her reasonings, right? But all of a sudden, they show a flashback with JC and Tyler to give JC some type of strategic clout. That way, people go, oh, he's working closely with Tyler. We like him. That way, as soon as JC has his little controversy with Bailey, all of these people are already predestined and preconceived to already have JC's side. You see that bullshit in the edit? You see that? I just decoded that real fast. And that was a freestyle. That was a freestyle decode technique right there. 7:42 p.m. Cam 1, Friday night. Faisal reveals to Caitlyn that Tyler gave Sam a hand sign to not use her power before they all voted. I found that very interesting. Anyone peep that on the feeds? Very, very interesting. Tyler's out here giving motherfuckers hand signs. What kind of shit is this? Y'all gangbanging now? What's going on, coach? You feel what I'm saying? Like, huh? You feel me? Now, maybe he had some deal with her. It was like, hey, I'll know for sure. And I'll just, because, you know, Tyler, like in one of the past evictions, he did something where I'm going to have my hair up if we're not doing it. I'm going to have my hair down if we are, you know, something like that or whatever. So Tyler does this a lot to show people how in charge he is. So, but for a guy that's trying to lay low, I don't get why you would want to give hand signs around a whole bunch of people. It would just look like weird behavior and people would connect two and two together. But this does impress me about Faisal, the fact that he's actually paying attention to stuff like this. And it actually makes me optimistic that he will go after Tyler. But yeah, so this shows me Faisal is starting to understand the game and he's starting to decode the matrix himself and get the hang of it. It also shows me Bailey made the right choice trusting only him with knowing about her power, because with this information, Faisal won't be fooled by Sam down the road because he knows she has something with Tyler. And he now knows, and he now has an incentive to target Lifeguard Jesus, the head of the snake. Caitlyn is such a detriment to Faisal's game, though, and he needs to stop telling her information like this because she'll tell Tyler, and then before you know it, Faisal is targeted just like Swaggy was with lies and personal attacks. He needs to listen to Bailey and draw the line with Caitlyn completely because she still thinks Tyler didn't flip, even though she knows he knew about the vote and how it would play out. If he knew the vote and didn't tell you, he clearly flipped. I mean, that's common sense, too. Why is she this digmatized to not be logical? Why can't her spirits conjure up some damn common sense, coach? That's what I need to know. Why can't she conjure up some common sense? Okay, but we're going to move on. 8:50 p.m., another interesting conversation. It might be the same Cam. I didn't document it, so, you know, don't hold that against me. But anyway, Rachel tells KC that she doesn't want to showmance with Brett because she doesn't know his intentions. Interesting. Now, she's confused whether he's attempting to use her or be with her. Casey keeps telling her to treat him like one of her girls, but Casey doesn't get the male psyche at all, okay? Just because you like women doesn't mean you understand men, Casey. Like, what the fuck? You know, she basically was giving Rachel advice she doesn't need. That advice works for another lesbian, but not a straight woman, Casey. The timing of this conversation feels a little off, like it could be a meeting for television that I exposed in the last rant to set up the eventual showmans down the road. Who knows? Maybe they go back to that moment in a flashback. We don't know, but the conversation felt a little forced because let's be honest, they haven't shown them in any way being close yet in the edit. 10:37 p.m. comes around. Rachel tells Angela she wants to take Faisal deep into the jury phase over Scotty to take out Tyler and Brett. Feels like all the women and JC see Faisal as the guy who can do their dirty work for them. Rachel and Angela then chastise Rockstar for a while Angela admits to wanting Rockstar out first so she can't make jury. This is important to note because now that Rockstar is sitting next to Caitlyn, I think Angela is definitely going to vote Rockstar out. I think Tyler definitely votes Rockstar out. I think Rachel votes with them. And I think before you know it, Rockstar is the one that has to do this twist and they'll make it the most complicated puzzle of all time. But that's what I'm in fear of right here. But yeah, so peak game how Angela said if Swaggy comes back, it's her worst nightmare. She still hates this guy and can't keep his dick out of her mouth either. She even told Rachel what her goodbye message was to Swaggy. But to my knowledge, it never made it to TV. I might be wrong. Now, Tyler walks in on the girls and they segue to their problem with Scotty. Rachel thinks Scotty regrets putting up Brett and Winston because he fed her a lie about it in the storage room. And Tyler, of course, uses this as an opportunity to paint a bigger target on Scotty by saying he can put 2 and 2 together. Tyler thinks Faisal will throw veto, but clearly Faisal isn't trying to because he wants Haley to stay, and Bailey has convinced him already to detach from Caitlyn. But Tyler doesn't even know this yet. This is key to mention because Tyler is underestimating Faisal's intellect and assumes Caitlyn can still manipulate him for Tyler. It would be poetic justice if Faisal got him out down the road with the help of the women because it's Tyler's own fault for this even being a possibility. Now let's get into Saturday's feeds, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you guys are appreciating my coverage of this because I truly put a lot of work into this. Now, 11:58 p.m. comes around, camera 2. Follow me. Brett and Tyler plan to use the impending power app to their advantage with the women that don't know about it expiring. They also expect Faisal to not target them because 3 men have gone home already. Okay, but it's interesting how last week Tyler used this pitch from Faisal as a reason to throw him under the bus to Brett. But now they're actually seeing it from his perspective, but aren't trying to change the narrative that it was always their idea, not his. Interesting. 1:22 p.m. camera 3. JC and Faisal before the veto discuss why they can't let Rockstar win. The conversation transitions into how crazy Caitlyn is. Faisal does a great job of asking JC a simple question. He wanted to know if he flipped in the last moment, in the last vote, okay? The reason why this is a great idea to me personally, ladies and gentlemen, is because the more and more you ask someone a direct question and they lie to you to your face when the math is very simple, the more you understand you can't work with this person because they're unwilling to admit the move they made. We can get past this if you're honest, but if you keep lying to me thinking that you're protecting your game, then we're going to have some problems down the road because you obviously don't think I can keep a secret for you. Okay. And I argue this is what Tyler can use against JC the same way this is what JC can use against Tyler, because the majority of their lies are all in lockstep together. They almost come together and come up with lies together anyway. So yes, it's in lockstep. Okay. Now, like I said, Faisal does a great job of asking JC if he flipped in this moment, because when JC lied and say he didn't, he automatically implicated Caitlyn. This is important because JC's game will be exposed soon because he won't be able to keep doing what the other side wants and play dumb after this week. Because once Caitlyn goes, and she might not go, but whoever goes, it doesn't matter. There's no one left to be the scapegoat for the vote, though, if Caitlyn does leave. That's my whole point. JC reveals his plan to manipulate Tyler after Caitlyn leaves, but by mentioning this to Faisal, he is telling him who flipped on the last vote. He and Tyler. Because it's impossible for both he and Tyler to vote the same way and be 2 of the 5 votes. It's impossible, like I mentioned earlier. Now, pay attention to what JC says to Faisal before and after he goes to the DR. Faisal is pacing back and forth thinking when JC tells him to stop thinking so much. Let me translate that for y'all. Y'all know I got to give y'all a quick translation. What JC really meant to say was, don't play the game and count votes because I'm lying to you right now. That was really what he was saying to Faisal in a subtle way. Then after Faisal leaves the storage room, JC says, you're going to have to go home. While many people think he was talking about Caitlyn, I think he was thinking Faisal has to go if he figures out JC is the rat. So I think that kind of was an entendre there, but he whispered it underneath his breath after Faisal left the storage room. Now, 1:30 p.m. camera 3, Bailey and Casey discussed Caitlyn getting pissed off right after players were drawn for veto because Haley picked Faisal. Faisal promised to take both of them off, but really only wants to save Haley. I don't know why Bailey told Casey that their side knows Caitlyn can't be trusted because Casey can run to her alliance and push for the replacement nom to go home before Caitlyn. Then we're looking at another week like when Swaggy went home, but this time Caitlyn is targeting Faisal for not saving her. This won't happen if Rachel is the replacement nominee, but it's very possible Rockstar is after banging them pants, which she is, and I already mentioned it. But if Sam breaking a promise from the start of the game happens, that could ruin her reputation even more this week than it already has based off her behavior. Now, 2:18 p.m. camera 2. For some reason, Caitlyn really thinks Sam used her app last week. Some people think Sam had an extra vote or could vote in place of others, and that's why she went last. This theory is dumb, which I mentioned earlier. Now, this theory is dumb because Julie didn't acknowledge the twist. That was my point. Julie acknowledges all twists, and JC even mentioned it. So for them to think this would be a twist that's just some secret is just complete bullshit. But once again, it shows the difference between a recruit and a super fan. You can't just watch one season and be an expert. The same way I can't just watch. Let me think of a show I've never watched before. I can't watch RuPaul's Drag Race, okay, and then act like I know what the fuck's going on. I can't. Because I don't understand the shit. I've never watched it, right? These people think they can watch one season of this game and they'll understand all the intricacies. No, you won't. No, you won't, coach. And this is why the dumb idea of people thinking a twist can be used without Julie acknowledging it just further shows they didn't watch the game enough, okay? But this shows why we need more super fans in the game. A super fan wouldn't waste time believing a theory that holds no weight such as this. She asked Tyler if he can get the votes for her, and this dickhead basically tells her to go campaign to save herself in the most beta male way possible. Once again, showing he isn't loyal to the people who show their loyalty through action in this game. He trusts Brett more than all the people who have actually put in work for him. That's crazy, ain't it? I think there's no way he doesn't get a bitter jury if he keeps using people and throwing them away like a fucking condom from a hotel vending machine. That's you, Tyler. That's your game. You're the guy going to the vending machine for a condom. That's you. That's you, bro. You a lifestyle man, ain't you? Little bit. Anyway, 3:20 p.m. Cam 2 kicks in. Sam is cross-examining Brett perfectly, in my opinion, trying to figure out if he's the bully Rockstar said he is or not, and who he likes or dislikes. Brett is making it sound like he likes everyone, but he clearly doesn't. In my opinion, Brett played this very well because he figured out what Sam was doing early. Brett, honestly, if he wasn't such a douchebag and had so many racial undertones, I would appreciate the guy's game. I really would. And honestly, to be honest, I respect Brett's game more than Tyler's because at least Brett is more honest about his game. Whereas Tyler likes to hide behind this facade of him being a nice guy who wants to protect the ocean, according to Julie Jen. Fuck out of here with that shit. But anyway, Sam then somehow tries to justify her nomination speech because JC and Casey don't have the same options to flirt like the women do. But that's complete horseshit. Let me explain. Because JC has been forcefully flirting with Faisal for weeks, and Casey has been doing the same with Bailey once Swaggy left. Casey is clearly trying to use it to help her game because she's boring otherwise. Casey even flirts with Angela here and there. So clearly Sam isn't in the loop socially, or this was an excuse given her by production. And they'll hide all that other shit from the edit, so it'll make it seem like, oh, she's warranted, right? All right, now here it is. So who is she to be the gatekeeper on the social environment just because she's HOH? To keep people from your room is one thing, Sam. You have a key. It's your right. But to try to control what happens outside your room, too, is nonsense. And frankly, it sounds like a case of HOH-itis is at play here. And it's only Saturday. Fees immediately cut for the veto competition, ladies and gentlemen. And honestly, I think a Sam exposed party is on the horizon. I think a JC exposed party is on the horizon. And if JC gets exposed, oh, please believe a Tyler exposed party is on the horizon. So let's look forward to all three of those things being exposed soon, depending on who wins this next HOH. 6:45 p.m. camera 3. Tyler and JC go to the storage room to discuss what happens post-veto. JC thinks he can get Faisal to not use the veto if he convinces Haley to tell him not to use it. JC and Tyler start arguing about when Caitlyn needs to go. JC wants her out before Rockstar, but before they can hash out all the details on getting Faisal not to use veto, Caitlyn walks in and ruins everything, like she always does, okay? Caitlyn almost won veto, got second place, so her target should have grown larger as a result. Caitlyn eventually leaves out, and the first thing JC says is she has to go to Tyler. I thought it was very funny. She has to go. She has to go. It's so fucking funny. Now, Tyler says it all depends on what Faisal does because everyone will keep Haley, but it's harder to get people to keep Rockstar. Tyler warns JC to not campaign too hard for him to not use veto because it will piss off Caitlyn, who still thinks it could be used on her. JC really hates Caitlyn, and I must say, I find him very funny anytime he shits on Caitlyn. I think that's JC's best moments when he's shitting on her. Keep it up, JC, and you might have a fan in me. But then again, you use the N-word, so fuck being a fan of you. You feel it, dig me, but keep shitting on her, though. Boy, I'm speaking like 1,000 words per minute, ladies and gentlemen. I got to keep my water intake up. You feel it, dig me? Now, 7:17 p.m., camera 1. Faisal is talking to Caitlyn about the veto comp, so she decides to apply pressure to figure out who he plans to save. She's been applying this same pressure since she was nominated on Friday, okay? Faisal explains this position is a no-win situation. Then Caitlyn explains it's a win-win scenario as long as she doesn't have to sit next to Haley. Sounds great in practice, right? Like, oh, she's down for him to use it no matter on who, right? Wrong. I'll explain. Pay close attention to the conversation because Caitlyn finally says something to out Tyler's game. She says, I'm close to Tyler and Tyler is close to everyone, quote unquote. Faisal needs to remember this because Caitlyn staying would lead to her going right back to Tyler, while Haley at least wouldn't flip on him for saving her. Caitlyn then asks the $500,000 question, ladies and gentlemen. If Faisal made the same promise to Haley, he then gets to splaining a little bit. I'm going to be honest. He was splaining about how he didn't expect to win veto when Caitlyn starts losing it. Okay, because this is post-veto, like I said. She's mad Haley is walking around happy only because the veto may be used on her, but she had no problem with her being happy to just not sit next to Caitlyn. So Caitlyn is the fakest friend ever, okay? She's so jealous of Haley. Honestly, if I'm Faisal, I want Caitlyn gone because her leaving probably increases the likelihood in Haley being his girlfriend in the house. But until then, Haley and him have to walk on eggshells because Caitlyn is constantly around the corner watching. Okay? It's really bizarre, man. It's really bizarre. It reminds me of that, remember that Dave Chappelle skit when they were doing the real world shit? Remember that? And it was the white guy, and he came in with it, and he brought his girlfriend over, and all the black dudes was hollering at her, and they was fucking with her, and you know, and he was having sex with her, and there was some black dude watching him, like in the dark, and he is just, you just saw his hand underneath the covers and shit. Caitlyn is almost like that black guy, just staring at another couple's happiness, you know, just sullying in it and hating it. You know, it reminds me of that in a way, but yeah. It's so funny hearing Caitlyn claim that she threw the comp only after Faisal didn't guarantee he'd use it on her. She actually thought that terrible lie would guilt trip Faisal into thinking he owes her something. He keeps bringing up how sending Swaggy home ruined and sullied their relationship, but Caitlyn, in denial, keeps saying their relationship hasn't changed, even though she clearly replaced Faisal with Tyler already. She should be more mad at Tyler for not promising her a thing before they pick players for veto than she should be mad at Faisal for thinking about it after winning it. But once again, this goes to show the double standard. Tyler gets away with murder over here. Faisal has to be the nice guy, and he has to always be the straight shooter over here. It's full of shit, man. It's full of shit. Then Faisal brings up how Caitlyn asked him to leave her HOH room so she could speak to Tyler alone. Let me translate that for you, Caitlyn. Faisal really meant to say, go ask your man Tyler to get the votes for you to stay, because I ain't using this veto on someone I can't trust that will flip. That's what he was really saying to your dumb ass. And I was so proud of Faisal in this moment. I was, because he has to keep himself calm, okay? Then dramatic Caitlyn storms off and says she's going to ask to go home, then presses the button to the DR. I thought this was the funniest shit of the night, y'all. Like I think a lot of people didn't catch this when Caitlyn tried to self-evict. It is hilarious. Let me reiterate this one more time. Go to, I think it's about 7:33 p.m. maybe. I think it's about 7:33 p.m. on Saturday night. It is hilarious. You know, she just reaches this breaking point. She says, I'm going to request to go home. And she runs off. and she goes right to the damn DR, buzzes on the button, and sits there for like a clean 30 seconds. And it's just hilarious, man. Anyone who hasn't seen this on the feeds, I would truly advise you to watch it, because I think it's hilarious to see this girl implode just because the veto won't be used on her. Now you want to quit? Okay. And honestly, I have a theory about what really happened, and I'm going to get into that in a second. 7:49 p.m. camera one. So this is only about 15 minutes later, maybe, give or take. Okay. About 5 to 15 minutes later, Faisal talks to Bailey to compare notes, and Bailey tells him that Caitlyn didn't throw the veto comp at all. She was actually mad Faisal didn't throw it to her. Interesting. Bailey with the constant T. Caitlyn got dragged so fast, and this is literally happening while she's in the DR trying to threaten to quit for some meds. I truly believe she went in there for some meds. I think she said, look, I want out of this game, and if you guys don't let me go, you better give me some fucking meds. Now, I'm going to explain why I think she got some meds, okay? This 20-minute window is comedy gold, okay? I was in tears watching it unfold for the first time, okay? 8:01 p.m., camera 3. Now, this is about 15 minutes after the 15 minutes happened. So this is virtually 30 minutes, approximately about 28 minutes after she threatened to quit, okay? Caitlyn returns from quitting and is now perfectly calm. Okay. She tells Haley and Bailey and Rockstar. She tells Haley that Bailey and Rockstar are holding a grudge towards her for backdooring Swaggy. Haley tells her that she put their group in a bad position. They aren't holding a grudge because they are still cordial with her, which is the truth. But I want y'all to pay attention to this, because I think this explains a lot of Caitlyn's behavior. This is some world premiere shit. No one else is going to bring it to y'all this real. Pay attention to how often, after Caitlyn threatened to quit, went to the DR and disappeared for 30 minutes, pay attention to how often she sniffs extra loud. She isn't crying. She's very calm, but she sniffs extra loud on feeds at 8:01 p.m., okay? Pay attention to how often she's like folding like towels or some shit or something or whatever. She's like folding clothes or something, but she keeps sniffing. Now, in a black neighborhood, I've been around enough motherfuckers that do cocaine to know when you are sniffing a type of drug, it could be a pill, it could be anything, okay? When you're sniffing something up your nose, you tend to constantly sniff when you're high off that drug, okay? I just know this, okay? And anyone who's been around enough motherfuckers know that to be true as well, which fits right in with my theory that she got some meds, and they may have been pills that she grounded up and sniffed, okay? Now, peep game on this. I think production gave her some meds that she could have snorted based off her behavior afterwards. She went from being unstable to calm in 30 minutes. If I was a betting man, she was definitely high off something, because right after she all of a sudden says, I'm going to go take a shower. A lot of high people like taking showers when they're high. That is a thing. So I don't think that ruled her out of being high at all. In fact, I think she was trying to cover it up by cleaning up herself a little bit. Because, you know, when you're high, you're a little paranoid that you might have something on you. You never know. So for her to want to take a shower right after it, in my opinion, it fortifies my theory that they were giving her some drugs, allegedly. I don't want to wind up like Johnny Fairplay with a cease and desist. By the way, man, y'all need to leave them alone over there at that podcast, man. Shout outs to them, man. They do good work over there. Anyway, 8:09 p.m., camera 1. Haley tells Faisal about JC trying to get them not to use veto. She's worried Faisal is conflicted enough to not use it, but he assures her he will. She tells him if he wants her to be his ride or die, he better use that shit. Okay, coach. Yes, sir. That's all Faisal needed to hear, coach. He ready for war now, boy. I swear, when a man knows he got a girl behind her 100%, that motherfucker can move mountains now. You feel me? He could turn into One Punch Man. You feel me, coach? Like, it's gonna get real. He finally got some inclination of a possible relationship. There's no going back now. Haley says something profound to Faisal. She says Caitlyn is the type of player you can't trust with anything besides what she wants to hear. That is an incredible description of Caitlyn, the game player. This is why everyone doesn't want to be around you, Caitlyn, because they're worried whatever they tell you will get to everyone else. And they're worried people can't have a civilized debate with you because you take everything personally. You know, there was even a story earlier today, or was it earlier today? Yeah, I think it was earlier today. No, or was it last night? Yeah, it was last night. My fault. Haley was talking to Angela about how her and Bailey were discussing something about how both of their dads contracted some type of a disease or virus because of some type of poisoning or something. And she brought up how Caitlyn brought up her dad crashing a car or something to just take away from their moment together. Stuff like that is why people don't like Caitlyn, okay? Stuff like that, all right? Now, she also is weighing out the pros and cons of not using veto versus using it. They don't seem to think Rockstar will be the replacement nom at all up to this point on Saturday night. Hopefully, Sam keeps her promise and picks someone else to guarantee Caitlyn goes so we can have an epic Thursday night. But now we know it is Rockstar, and most likely Rockstar leads. Hazel, which is the new hashtag for Faisal and Haley, because I think they're finally confirmed, coach. I think using that veto confirmed it, but that's just my opinion. But Hazel continues to flirt, and it was very cute. I don't use that word very often. So when I use it this time, know that the shit was cute, okay? I don't want y'all pulling my car like, hold up, Dave. You're getting soft on me. No, this shit did look really cute, man. I mean, it did. I took a picture of it. I was like, when you, the face you make when you realize a showmance is inevitable, I put that shit on Twitter. Like, it's like watching people play hard to get, finally acknowledge they need each other. That's why I think it looks pretty cool. We just need someone between them two or Bailey to win the next HOH, and this game can turn around. 8:46 p.m., camera 1. Haley admits her dad is built like Faisal. This is important to note because it shows she always liked Faisal more than Tyler. People keep trying to tell me, no, man, Haley likes Tyler more. And while I did predict that Haley would probably wind up with Tyler, I think this was important for me to peep. That way I could give Haley her credit and stop painting her as this person who are playing both of them against each other. I think she truly does feel Faisal more. Women usually want a man that is similar to their dad because they feel more safe and secure with that person. You could see it on Rockstar's face that she was proud to see them finally making some progress. I thought that was worth mentioning, especially since this is called Fatal Attraction. I gotta put every piece of context in as to why Caitlyn is so butthurt. Because trust me, she stays this week. She's already voiced her opinion. She's going after Bailey and Faisal. She is scorned, coach. This is going to be just like week 2 all over again next week. It's going to be just like it if Caitlyn doesn't leave. I'm just warning y'all. I'm prepping y'all emotionally for this on Thursday. 8:52 p.m., camera 3. Caitlyn tells Tyler Haley's legs are on Faisal and she can't compete with that. I didn't appreciate that comment because it sounds a lot like Sam, doesn't it? But isn't Caitlyn the one saying Sam was overly disrespectful? See how full of shit Caitlyn is? She'll immediately start resorting to slut-shaming someone. And I just don't get it. If that person's your friend, why slut shame her? You got a man. Why do you even care about competing with it? You have Tyler. Why do you care about who's your day one? And she's even called Tyler her day one after the fact. It's so stupid. Anyway, slut shaming her own friend for doing nothing but being happy her other friend is saving her. Here we go with this week 1 hater shit again. But then she says if Faisal saves Haley and she stays this week, she'll target Faisal next week if she's HOH. I think she's only talking with this much confidence because all of them are aware of Sam's twist expiring and going to be used this week anyway. I think that's the whole motivation for that. And I think production probably talked her out of quitting because they told her about Sam's power too. Right before they gave her the med she snorted, allegedly. All right, let's get back. So basically, she's trying to do exactly what she did to Swaggy, to Faisal or Bailey, just because she betrayed her own alliance and they don't want her. They don't want to save her over someone who's loyal. Doesn't make any sense. If Tyler keeps her this week just to target Faisal or Bailey, it will prove how bitch-made this guy really is because he's already told Brett they can't afford for another guy to go home anyway before jury. So if he subjects himself to another 2 weeks of Caitlyn just to not grow a pair of nuts himself, it will be yet another blemish on his gameplay, in my opinion, because he's too resilient on bad players. I'll say my fault. He's too reliant on bad players making mistakes than he is actually relying on outplaying the good ones. I can't sit through another Caitlyn HOH. I just can't. I just can't, y'all. And I feel like they are trying to set another Caitlyn HOH up. Now, 9:51 p.m., camera 2. Bailey is in the HOH room talking to Tyler and Sam, sad because she feels like she can't be herself. Okay, this is the clip that a lot of people have opinions on. Bailey was just being honest about what it's like to be black in this game. And there's people trying to say, oh, stop complaining. You know, the same people trying to tell people that they are race baiters in ordinary life. But it's just so sad when she's in a closed room trying to express her feelings to the people y'all love, the people y'all say are so compassionate, y'all dismiss her immediately. You feel me? But y'all are so quick to give Sam and Tyler credit for being there for her, but you're not willing to give Bailey any type of sympathy or empathize with her in this moment. You're just willing to give credit to the other two. It shows who you are as a person when you do stuff like this. And she's normally nice, but this game isn't meant for nice people who care about others. Sam tells her empathy makes you strong, not weak. Part of me is a little skeptical about this because all three of them have the apps. Or had the apps. Sam doesn't really have the app anymore. And they all happen to be in the HOH room with the door locked talking game. Felt like another possible TV meeting, if you ask me. Felt like it a little bit. Cooked up by production to help Sam's edit recover from that speech. Possibly. I don't know. You feel me? And maybe they were hedging because they didn't know how America would take the JC Bailey thing. So maybe they thought, oh, we could put this in here if America took Bailey's side, and we can not put it in there if they take JC's side. Peep game on that as well. All of these things matter, ladies and gentlemen, and that's why I mentioned them. Now, but if it doesn't make the edit, I appreciate what Sam said to her, because then I'll know it wasn't a manufactured conversation. Bailey is tired of taking crap from people just to avoid a negative stereotype. This inner conflict is driving her crazy. It's making her want to be alone. But notice how Tyler is trying to convince Bailey she's stronger alone. I want y'all to peep game on this conversation and peep what Tyler was doing in this moment. I didn't appreciate it, and I'm going to break down why. This was a sneak diss towards not only Swaggy's game, but Swaggy and her's relationship outside of the game. Let me get into it a little bit further, okay? It's also Tyler subliminally telling her to drop her side and be solo so he can replace Caitlyn with her. And in normal Tyler fashion, he let Sam direct the entire conversation and didn't say much, but made sure to say that. Interesting, huh? If you really watch that conversation, Tyler played it so safe in that fucking room. He let Sam do the majority of the talking because she's the HOH and she's a woman and she can talk to Bailey a certain way. Tyler don't have the mouthpiece to understand what Bailey's going through because he's dealing with the guilt of knowing he put her in the position to feel this way in the first place. So who the fuck are you to tell her she's better on her own when you have been trying to put her on her own this whole time? You ain't shit. Now, 11:04 p.m. camera 3 comes around. This is still Saturday night, okay? Caitlyn is talking to Tyler about how Bailey hasn't forgotten the Swaggy thing. I really don't like how she keeps saying the Swaggy thing. Say what happened, bitch. Say what really happened, okay? Why is she so scared to say what she did? Just say she hasn't forgot I betrayed her and backdoored her boyfriend. By just calling it a thing, it downplays the betrayal completely, just so Caitlyn can play the role of the betrayed victim herself. Pay attention. Then she calls Bailey stubborn for remembering how her man went home, like she's supposed to let it go or something. What kind of shit is this? But Bailey has been more than nice enough to this crazy chick. She even hugged her as soon as she backdoored him, coach. I can't look at you. Remember that shit? You couldn't even look at me 2 weeks ago. Now you mad because I don't want to forgive your dumb ass for making a dumb decision? Huh? ¿Por qué? Like, that don't even make sense, coach. That don't even make sense, coach. Like, really, bro? Like, it's just crazy. And then she starts calling her stubborn. But what does she really mean by stubborn, though? My conspiracy of this season is centered around Tyler, Caitlyn, and Sam making Final 3, right? So what if Caitlyn meant Bailey is stubborn with production? Oh, Dave. Woo! You are setting this table, bruh. I want to eat on this plate. I feel you, coach. I feel you. Because right after that, Tyler tells her to send Bailey home if she wins HOH, and that was literally 20 minutes after the damn conversation she had with Sam and Tyler upstairs about how it was hard being black in the game. Tyler don't give a fuck about her, man. He don't give a fuck about her. You mean to tell me right after you're telling her it's better for you to be alone, you tell Caitlyn to target her next week? But there's black people standing for this Tyler and Bailey bullshit? What is wrong with y'all? Y'all must not watch feeds. Whoever is supporting this shit, y'all must not watch feeds. Y'all must not. Which is just another example of how Lifeguard Jesus is the villain, ladies and gentlemen. What I don't get is, why are people so quick to dislike Bailey for being emotional about holding back her emotions? But these same people don't mind the white girl tears from other house guests like Rachel. She uses them. Remember the whole racist comments thing? They come out the DR and they just cry. Covered it up. Remember that shit? It's a double standard to the highest order. And even though Swaggy has been gone for 2 weeks, they still hate Bailey by association. And that's why Tyler keeps mentioning Swaggy's name when Bailey is around him. Okay? He doesn't want her game to be able to separate from Swaggy. He wants that to constantly be the stigma to drag her down, the anchor to drag her. That way, she has to rely on who? The lifeguard to help her up to the surface of the water so she doesn't drown. All of this is symbolic, ladies and gentlemen. 2 a.m. This is still Saturday night, but technically this is Sunday morning at this point. Backyard opens up finally, and Rockstar is with Sam discussing the game. They get interrupted, of course, by Caitlyn, who interrupts everyone who's discussing something good on feeds. She just happens to do it. But yeah, they get interrupted by Caitlyn, who now thinks Faisal is using the veto on Haley. So now she's trying to run interference Rockstar's way to ensure she's sitting next to her. Peep game, how Caitlyn told her to look forward to seeing her family when she leaves the game. I think she was subtly telling her not to be mad if she gets backdoored and eliminated, because Rockstar has gone out of her way several times to say she doesn't care about going home because she misses her family. And did you notice how in the edit on Sunday night, they went out of their way to show that from Rockstar too? It's almost like with the Brett confessionals regarding Rockstar, just seeing the future and knowing she'd be backdoored on top of her, them putting that in the edit, that she doesn't want to be there. She wants to go home and see her family. They're trying to set this up as, oh, no one will miss you. So we're going to rig it so Caitlyn can stay. Caitlyn is feeds gold. That's how they're positioning this in the edit. Now, 10 minutes later, Caitlyn is back talking to Tyler in the geometry room, and she brings up Bailey again, but this time she tries to paint a bigger target on her by telling him that she tried to throw JC under the bus to her, but her and JC are cool now and she doesn't understand it. I think she's only doing this because she's a sore loser. Bailey has nothing to do with the position she's in. Tyler does. But instead of holding Tyler accountable, she chooses to whine to him over and over about Bailey and Faisal. Then she tries to blame Bailey for why Faisal isn't using the veto on her. And let me be honest, this was pretty clairvoyant on her part, because yes, it was Bailey who played a role in Faisal finally seeing the truth in Caitlyn's game. She did play a role in that, but I truly believe Faisal would have still used it on Haley regardless. But this once again makes me think production is telling her this type of information. You feel me? It doesn't make sense. How did she jump to that conclusion without seeing it for herself? She's literally just coming up with it out of thin air, but she doesn't know the game enough to actually come up with excuses on the fly when someone applies pressure. So it makes me automatically assume the things that she does say that are clairvoyant are being fed to her. It's not things she's actually working to achieve herself. Okay. But yeah, so then she asks Tyler again if she can send her home because of what she's doing to her. But she isn't doing anything to her. And see, this is what Bailey was talking about in the room with Sam and Tyler in the first place. And this is the same night Tyler already threw under the bus and said he can target her, right? So remember this. In fact, Bailey has been avoiding Caitlyn because she doesn't want the drama. Caitlyn is mad, though, that Bailey won't allow her to paint the narrative about her sticking up for herself. That's why Caitlyn's really mad, because Bailey figured out what her game is and now is using it against her. Okay? Very smart play on Bailey's part. Bailey, dare I say, stole Caitlyn's narrative from her. But to be fair, Caitlyn handed her the narrative when she backdoored Swaggy. Because by backdooring Swaggy, you make Bailey the one who has to stand up for herself. You make Bailey now the one who is ostracized. You make Bailey now the biggest underdog in the game. You did that. Okay. You crippled that side. Okay. Caitlyn is just an idiot. She's worse than Raven. And I never thought I'd say that, y'all. I never thought I would ever say that. Someone's worse than Raven Dave. She's worse. She's worse. She's worse. Yeah, she's worse. Because at least in Raven season, there were other people who I found just as entertaining as her. I mean, not entertaining. Oh, shit, my fault. Irritating. Oh, my God. Just as irritating as her. Okay. Whereas in this season, Caitlyn is on her own, like, I don't know, skyscraper of irritatingness. You know what I'm saying? You know, it's like, what is going on with this girl? Okay. And it's like, I truly believe drugs is playing a role in why she has such erratic behavior, y'all. And whatever drugs production is allegedly giving her has her mind completely warped on what's reality and what isn't. She needs an intervention, not another week in the game. Caitlyn keeps saying if they were a showmance, she wouldn't care, but she clearly does care. Why does them claiming each other in Faisal and Haley, why does that matter? That would paint a massive target on themselves in the process. So why would that make the difference between her staying out of their business or not? Caitlyn admitted on feeds Thursday afternoon that she's seen Faisal's dick before. Something interesting to mention here, because she's positioned herself, oh, I have a boyfriend. I'm not into him like that. Why would a taken woman care about her friend's cock? Think about that, y'all. Some people suspect that she said in a video on YouTube, and I will try to provide the link to that in my pinned comment, and I'll let y'all decide for yourself. There's a lot of people on social media that right now suspect that before feeds came on, Caitlyn was so thirsty for Faisal that she may have given him fellatio. People do believe this 100%. And it even sounds like she said something to the effect of, I tasted it before to Haley. It really sounded like that. So yeah, some suspect she said she gave him head before feeds cut on, and that's why she's so adamant about this day one bullshit. It would also make sense why Faisal refuses to drop her ass, because he may be worried she'll tell the secret himself, because there's some secret between them two that isn't being addressed, but it keeps being mentioned as a secret. So it's like, what would be worth keeping outside of some sexual orientation, some sexual mingling happening before feeds cut on that they don't want the world to know about? And see, this is why I wish we had feeds from ground zero, week zero. This is why I wish, you know what I'm saying? Because we would get to know these people before the game starts, and we would really get to decide who's a nice person and who isn't. It would also make sense why Faisal refuses to drop her, as like I said, because she could tell the secret herself. I don't know. But I had to provide context as to why she's so full of shit with constant lies of her having a man and not looking at Faisal that way. Even JC thinks her boyfriend in the picture she was given when she was HOH are her damn brother. He thinks that's her brother. So, and by the way, JC really don't like this chick, coach. And I truly think it's because of what I mentioned previously. She tried to turn Bailey against JC. JC already was trying to turn people against, Bailey was already trying to turn people against JC. But when JC and Bailey both I think compared notes and realized what Caitlyn was up to, I think they both just realized, you know what? We need to get rid of this bitch first. And I think that's why Caitlyn's mad. She wasn't able to make them go at each other. You feel me? And when the whole house knows about the whole N-word comments versus midget, I think Caitlyn truly thought she could use that to her advantage to maybe manipulate Bailey into trusting her more, forget about what she did to Swaggy, and fight a new battle against someone else that may have done something that was racially motivated. And I thought that was cowardice on your part, Caitlyn. Very cowardice. Next, let's move into Sunday's feeds. I don't have many notes for this, ladies and gentlemen. I'm towards the end, but I will definitely break down what I think may have went down on Sunday. Now, 7:16 p.m. on camera 2, Bailey, Haley, and Rockstar talk about whether Caitlyn is getting in Faisal's head. Bailey reiterates that it isn't fair for Haley to stay on the block for the mistakes Caitlyn made, and Caitlyn shouldn't be using her mistakes that she won't even call mistakes as excuses to come off the block if she has no regrets of making the move. Let me say that one more time, because that was a long sentence, but if you're a logical thinker and you're a follower of this game, if you're a purist of Big Brother, it doesn't make sense. So let me say this one more time. And this also shows how good Bailey is, okay? This also shows it. Let me say this one more time. Bailey reiterates that it isn't fair for Haley to stay on the block for the mistakes Caitlyn made. And Caitlyn shouldn't be using her mistakes that she doesn't even consider mistakes. Think about that. She keeps saying, I backdoor Swaggy because I had to stand up on myself. But then when she's in front of Tyler, she comes up with a new excuse and says, oh, well, there's so many viewers watching and I just get excited sometimes. So she is changing her excuse up when it's convenient, just like Tyler changes his bullshit up when it's convenient. But let me get back to what I'm saying. Bailey reiterates that it isn't fair for Haley to stay on the block for the mistakes Caitlyn made. And Caitlyn shouldn't be using her mistakes that she won't even call mistakes as excuses to come off the block if she has no regrets of making the move itself. Okay? I thought this was worded so well by Bailey. Now, I summarized it a bit. Okay? But if you watch that, you will see that Bailey, man, she is doing a great job of keeping everyone's mind on the right things. Okay? I love Bailey saying this because it exposes all the bullshit. Then Angela walks up thirsty as hell to eavesdrop. And I appreciate what Haley did on the subtle side of the game. Okay. They talking on a hammock type shit, right? Like I said, there's Rockstar over here. Haley's in the middle and you got Bailey. Okay. And Bailey's got her back turned towards the, basically where the house is. You know what I'm saying? Rockstar is more so towards the corner. And Haley is like on the other end. So she can see who's walking up on stuff, who's lifting weights and whatnot against the wall. So Haley on some slick shit. As soon as Angela tried to walk him and eavesdrop, Haley on the real subtle tip was like, shh. All of a sudden, Bailey immediately transitions to talking about how the clouds look. And then she was like, hey, Angela, don't these clouds look crazy? I just thought it was funny as shit on the low. And see, this shows me that Haley is someone with the potential to work with Bailey very well going deeper into this game. I think Haley, if Rockstar has to be a sacrificial lamb this week, I hate to hear that. But at the end of the day, we couldn't risk Haley. We couldn't risk her. She's too important to Bailey's game. She's too important to Faisal's game. She's just way too important. She's way too important, and I love Rockstar. I really do. But from a game's perspective, I think she may have ruined and sullied her own reputation with the pan shit. I think by association, like Brett said, she may have also kind of burnt a little bit of a bridge with her own alliance, because now the more they're around her, the more it looks like they're co-signing that bullshit buffoonery. Okay. And I'm sure people of high class like Haley and Bailey ain't with that shit. Okay. They ain't with that shit. That was a low move in my opinion. Okay. But yeah, it's crazy, man. It's crazy. But yeah, so hold on. Give me 1 second. I think I may have accidentally lost myself in the notes for a split second. These are so many notes though. Okay, yeah. I'm past this. I'm past that. Oh yeah, I'm on Sunday. I'm tripping. All right, bet. I'm here now. My fault. All right. Bailey put Shorty in her place by telling her it isn't fair for her, and I mean Caitlyn. Bailey put Caitlyn in her place by telling her it isn't fair for her to have Tyler when no one else in the group can have him. I don't get how it's okay for Caitlyn to have Tyler, but bitch about Haley having Faisal. Why does she get to chalk it off as a personal relationship with Tyler, but Faisal has to have a showmance to be close to Haley? See the bullshit? This is why I call this rant fatal attraction, because the girl is dead set on cock blocking other men when she wants them. Then Caitlyn comes and ruins their game talk on the hammock like she ruins everyone's game talk. And that's really the moral of this rant. Caitlyn ruins everything. Okay. Now, 8:16 p.m. Sunday night, Haley discusses veto with Angela, and I'm a little skeptical about how hard Angela is supporting the veto being used. Pay attention to this, because previously I mentioned to you all that Angela wants Rockstar gone before jury, right? So peep game on this conversation at 8:16 p.m. when they're on the hammock, because she's almost telling Haley that if Faisal is still hesitant with using this veto on you, you should almost emasculate him and tell him America will view him as a bitch if he doesn't use it on her. And I was like, huh? So that immediately got my gears grinding, and I started realizing she wants this veto used because she wants Rockstar going this bad. Okay. And she knows people like Brett ain't voting out Haley, but he will vote out Rockstar. So it made perfect sense in this moment. And see, we couldn't risk Haley, like I said. So I don't regret what Faisal did. But at the same time, though, someone is that damn adamant with the veto being used, I'd be worried my damn self. I'm just glad Bailey wasn't the replacement nominee. I'm just glad Sam had a little bit of honor. You feel me? Because if that was Tyler, Bailey would have been up, not no damn rock star. You feel it? Dig me? But yeah, so they said he'll be perceived as a bitch to America for not saving her. Only will result in Rockstar going home, in my opinion, because production doesn't care about her. They care about Tyler. And Rockstar does nothing for Tyler, but Caitlyn does tons for Tyler. I don't see a scenario where Caitlyn goes home because even if she is evicted, she'll get an easy puzzle. I hope I'm wrong, but I think I'm right. 9:22 p.m., camera 4. Bailey is discussing Angela with Rachel. I'm not happy with this because Rachel has already told both Casey and Angela about Bailey talking shit about Angela behind her back. I'm scared she's too trusting of Rachel when Rachel can prove to be another Caitlyn with the right push from production. I'm giving her the benefit of the doubt only because she has to keep her options open and stay social to the people she was cool with before she was with Swaggy. But she can do this without mentioning Angela's name to Rachel. I think that is a little messy, and that could put her in harm's way later down the road. Now, pay attention because Casey eventually comes in the room, okay? So pay attention to Casey when she's talking to Bailey. I believe they were in the room by themselves at this point, but I might be wrong, okay? I think they were. I think Rachel left the room, Casey came in, and they start talking to each other in the have-not room by themselves. Now, pay attention to what Casey is saying to her. And Swaggy, see, if you're watching this, my brother, and you don't have time to watch feeds, I'm sure people ain't putting you up on game all the time. So I'm going to put you up on game with this bullshit right here, okay? Casey said her and Bailey will be friends forever right after Bailey said she might get a tattoo on her butt. Then Casey said her friend has a tat of her girlfriend on her butt. So Casey is already trying to parallel whatever tattoo Bailey is getting to some lesbian shit. Peep game on that. She's hitting on her so hard and has no chill. Swaggy ain't about to be cool with this chick driving up to see his girl like they talking about. They was talking about, hey, girl, I'm trying to move to L.A. I wish you still lived in Sacramento. Or no. She said, I wish you still lived in San Diego. And I'm like, Bailey, no, man, fuck this shit. You feel me? But this is what I'm talking about, man. You know, I am pissed off about this shit, especially after this chick shitted on Bailey's boyfriend so hard on his way out. I'm interested to see if Bailey still likes this chick after she finds out about all the petty remarks Casey made towards her man. I wonder what Swaggy thinks about Bailey saying her and Casey are a package deal after the game as well. I didn't appreciate this either. First off, the only package deal should be you and your man, okay? Or your baby daddy, as you call him. That should be the only package deal. Not no fucking lesbian that hates on your man. In my opinion, that was a bad sign and a bad signal. If that was my girl, I'd be a little bit worried. Not that Casey can take her, but that something ain't right now. Something ain't right. And this is why they had to get rid of you, my brother, unfortunately. But yeah, so now let's get into Sunday's episode, okay? Now let's get into Sunday's episode. Notice how they showed a flashback in this episode just to give JC some strategic clout with Tyler before the controversy. This was done by design to make all the Tyler fans take JC's side before the comments were even made. This subtle editing trick explains easily why people can hate Bailey despite her doing nothing wrong, because they even painted Bailey as someone with Rockstar that wouldn't empathize with her. Remember when Rockstar was sad about the whole thing and Bailey was talking about how she might not be cut out for this game, or she isn't taking it right, or stuff like that? They made Bailey look like someone who was a little heartless in that moment on purpose. That way, when she gets to a moment that offends her, now they can be like, oh, now you're offended by something? Oh, but you weren't having Rockstar. See, they did that on purpose by design, y'all, man. Pay attention to this edit. It's so bullshit. They only showed Bailey giving her tough love. So obviously, when the same person in Bailey is offended by something, the audience is conditioned to think she should be just as tough and taken in stride when someone says the N-word in her face. Damn. Notice how much they are covering Sam's ass in the edit. It makes her look stern but not disrespectful like she was being. Also notice they didn't provide any real context to the viewers as to why she would target the women. Peep game how they are already setting up Rockstar to go home in the edit before the noms. Okay? Now let's get into JC versus Bailey. The moment of truth, baby. I'm going to get into full detail here. And I worded my shit correctly. Okay, so y'all gonna get this work. You know I'm gonna end y'all with a great conclusion to this rant, baby. Okay, Bailey asked him a question, but he didn't have to use the actual N-word. He didn't. Okay, he would have used the word again when explaining the story to others if he didn't think it was a big deal. Evil Dick pointed this out as well, and I want to salute you, Evil Dick, for keeping it 1,000 in this situation. Now, notice how they allowed JC to have an extra confessional after Bailey walks out the room to further humanize him. They even allowed him to be the martyr for all gay rights, even though the conversation wasn't about gays at all. Interesting. You feel me? So they're almost lumping in other causes just to guarantee he has more support than Bailey in this situation. They're making it overwhelming, just like the odds of a black person winning are overwhelming. Yeah, same shit. Anyway, Bailey's perspective is still about being black, but JC's perspective is lumped in with being gay to garner extra sympathy. Also, peep game how when JC went into the have-not room, he said the N-word instead of the word that had to be censored. But peep the smirk that was on Brett's face when he admitted to saying the N-word to her. Brett was pretty impressed by the guy in that moment. All right. People defend JC using a racial slur because Bailey asked him a question. These people called Rachel and Angela's comments non-problematic, but then champion a cause for the word midget as if they've never used it in their everyday life. See the hypocrisy here. Y'all are out here going, no, midget is such a bad word. You use it all the fucking time. Stop bullshit. Y'all was calling Paul a midget last season. Now all of a sudden that word is so offensive. Oh, it's just as offensive as the N-word. All right. Say midget and see how many motherfuckers whoop your ass in the hood. Then say the N-word and see how many motherfuckers whoop your ass in the hood. Oh, it's a different word. Oh, it's a different word. And I'm going to break down the hypocrisy and how flawed the logic is. Don't worry. Y'all know me. See, I can be the voice for this community. I'm a really ether one right here. These same people use the N-word too behind closed doors, but they're so desensitized to it that they actually think midget is comparable. That's like saying calling someone as a geek is equivalent to calling a Mexican the B word. JC was clearly putting words in her mouth, but production never provided Bailey a flashback to back up what she said at all. Did y'all notice that? It would have been a 4-second clip at best of Bailey asking the question. He put words in her mouth and said that she called him a faggot. She never said nothing like that. But notice how no flashback was given to her in the same episode that they provided a flashback for JC and Tyler. This is what they do to us, ladies and gentlemen. This is what they do to us. But because they wanted to throw another black person under the bus, they sped over all the context and let JC have all these confessionals that were irrelevant to the whole midget subject in the first place. This was definitely meant to fill time because this moment ran for at least 10 minutes straight. This episode had so much filler in it that the transitions after commercial break made no sense. Production should be ashamed of themselves for this bullshit. While I'm willing to agree both words can be offensive, one is only offensive to a sensitive person, while the other is offensive to all people of a certain civilization. A nerd could look at the word geek as a compliment. The stereotype it comes with could mean you're very smart. But what compliment could the N-word or B-word possibly give? Some people have embraced the term midget to build their own brand, like Midget Mac from I Love New York on VH1. Remember that guy, ladies and gentlemen? That wasn't a negative connotation for him. It led to him getting a check. And he even got to kiss New York in the mouth. He got some pussy for calling himself a midget. Interesting. Clearly, he used this to his advantage, so it isn't any type of slur or derogatory term. But a black person or a Mexican person would never use a derogatory term like the N-word or B-word to help build their brands. That level of cooning would be career suicide because your own people wouldn't support you. The amount of habitual line stepping from people the amount of habitual line stepping people do involuntarily to see black players fail in this community is why my voice has to be heard. Lastly, notice how they cut off the majority of Sam's speech. I mentioned that, but I just want to reiterate that. Rewatch that. They cut it off. They cut it off. Now, to get into Monday's feeds, I didn't really watch much, but from what I'm being told, JC and Tyler versus each other is a very, very possible thing. But this is the one piece of note I did take. Faisal uses the veto on Haley, and now Rockstar is up, but Tyler might lose JC as a loyal number because if Tyler chooses to save Caitlyn, it goes against JC, who has made it very clear he wants Caitlyn gone this week no matter what, because Rockstar can't win shit. So if Tyler goes out of his way to save Caitlyn, he automatically goes against JC, who has all the dirt in the world on Tyler. Tyler, it's not worth it for you, but I hope you do, because it'll be worth it for us. And JC, like I said, is the wrong person to piss off because he knows Tyler's game, because he's playing a similar one and knows all the dirt Tyler is doing. And keep in mind, after CBS went out of their way to make JC look like the victim after saying the N-word, which is crazy, how you can make someone seem like the victim after using such a racial slur like that. It just goes to show how crazy CBS really is. But they can't, and by the way, the boycott must continue, ladies and gentlemen, in case you forgot. I didn't mention it yet, but the boycott must continue. They can't afford to do a 180 and throw JC under the bus to make Tyler look good now. So if JC versus Tyler becomes an actual thing, Tyler is in huge trouble with the casual audience who will finally see him as the real villain, hopefully. But who knows? Maybe CBS doesn't even acknowledge a crack developing in the alliance on purpose in the edit to keep them both well-liked. But it's definitely something for us to keep our eyes on. Faisal promises he'll still vote to keep Caitlyn. I don't want to hear that shit, Faisal. If you ain't going to save her, double down and vote her ass out, coach. That's the one problem I got with you right now. Hopefully Bailey's able to talk some sense into you and Haley to snap you out of whatever phase you're in. That way you can honor Swaggy the right way by getting this crazy bitch out. So ladies and gentlemen, this has been the 13th rant of Recency Bias Radio, Fatal Attraction. I hope I was able to cover as much strategy talk and as much of the gossip and as much of the showman shit as I possibly could to set you all up for Wednesday's episode and Thursdays when I will see you. So I truly appreciate you all coming through. If you could, please like, share, and subscribe. That way, and on the right side of my channel's page, click on that bell. That way you can be here with the most lit live chat in Big Brother 20 history, bar none. I truly appreciate you guys holding me down as long as you have over the past hour or so. And I will definitely see you on Thursday night. So y'all have a wonderful work week and y'all be safe. I'm out.